Okay, so this is the very first video in the Learning CW course that I'm going to be going through. We're going to learn letters and learn the alphabet to start. Then we're going to learn numbers, then punctuation, and then pro signs. This first video should be, this is going to be your first video, and they should be done in sequential order, starting with video number 1, because they're going to build on each other. And right now we're going to learn 4 letters to start our journey in learning CW. And those letters are E, T, A, and N. And when we learn CW, we typically hear people talk about dits and das. And what I'm going to do, and the reason why we do that is because it's really an audio type of thing where you're really going to want to listen to what these sounds are and correlate those into letters, numbers, pro signs, and punctuation in your head. So when we do that, we like to say da for dash and dit for a dot. I'm going to probably not use a lot of that terminology, and instead I'm actually going to, you've got really a picture of me with the CW key here. I'm going to actually do the letters on the Morse code paddle here, for example. It doesn't really matter what I'm using. I just want you to, and realistically all these videos are really intended for you to mostly listen to. There is no real reason why you should be looking at my face or actually really looking at my CW key, but for some of those folks that want to have something on their TV or whatever, it'll at least give them something to look at, and I hope to swap out some of these Morse code paddles for some interesting change of scenery as we go through the program. So right now we're going to start learning letters, and the first 2 letters we're going to learn are the letters E, which just sounds like that. It was almost indistinguishable, right? So that's an E. It's usually the left side of the paddle. Some people have it switched, and it depends on if they're left-handed or right-handed. Some people are right-handed and they have it switched anyways. So that's an E, but how does that differ from a T, which would be that? A little bit longer. That's an E. Let's see what they sound like together. That's an E. That's a T. A couple of E's together. And then a couple of T's together. And I'm doing this at 18 words a minute, which is what I think is one of the most preferable speeds to do it at. And I think anything a little bit slower than that is going to cause you to want to start counting dits and das. If we do it at 18 words a minute, that kind of gets us a little bit away from that. And we'll kind of pick that up as we learn more letters. So the first letter is, if you remember what that is, I'll do it again. That's an E, right? Did that sound a little bit different? It kind of sounded different. I'll do an E and then a T and alternate them. So those are E's and T's. So you now learned the 2 foundational building blocks of Morse code, and they are the E and the T. See if you can pick these out and say them out loud. So there you go. We are learning E's and T's. And for some, it might not be super distinguishable because this might seem fast, or at least this, this words per minute, 18 words per minute. But as we start doing letters, I'm going to introduce an additional letter for us to learn, which is going to be the A as in alpha, and that's a dit da, or a dot dash, and it sounds like this. So that has a distinct sound to it. You can tell it's got two tones. That's an A. And if I were to send an A with a T right at the end, so we would be forming the word at, it would sound like this. All right? Remember that T sounds like this? And then we'll throw an A in there. There you go, there's an A and then a T. Now we can't forget what E sounds like. So maybe we can do E-A. There's an E-A. So there's an E, A, and then there's a T at the end. We just spelled the word eat, E-A-T. Now that was a little bit fast, I realize that, but if we were to slow it down from a spacing standpoint, we're still going to stay on 18 words a minute for the speed, but we're going to do an E, our new letter A, and then a T. So here's your E. We know what that is. Here's your A. And then here's your T. So let's do E-A-T for eat. There you go. So there's an E-A-T. Now let's see if you can recognize some of these letters. We know three letters now. It's E, A, and T, or A, E, T. So let's throw a couple of letters out there, and as you're listening to this, and of course, like I mentioned, you should really be listening to this instead of looking at it. But if you want something kind of fun on your TV, like I said, I'll keep the Morse code paddle on here. But let's do a couple of letters in our three-letter alphabet that we now know. What letter is this? That's right, it's a T. That was an E. That was a T. That sounded different, right? That's our new letter, right? That's an A. E. T. A. I'm going to do just a bunch of letters and see if you can pick them out as fast as you can. Just shout them out. If you're driving in your car, listening to this in your vehicle, roll down the window and make sure the person next to you can hear you as you're driving down the highway, because I want you to try to pick these out as fast as you can right after I send them. Now, I'm not sure if that was too fast or even too slow. Some of the folks that have already learned the letters E, A, and T might think that this was a little bit too slow, but some of the folks that haven't learned the letters yet might have thought that was a little fast. So you can certainly rewind and go back and listen to that again. But I'll try to slow it down on this next round. Let's do another couple of letters, and we'll move on to adding one more letter for our fourth and final letter for this video. which will be the letter N as in November. But let's make sure that we have our A, the E, and our T down pat. So here we go. Alright, so that completes our exercise for learning A, E, and T. And now we're going to learn the letter N as in November. And that sounds like this. And you might think it sounds, oh, maybe that's similar to an A, because an A is a dot dash or a da, and an N is a dash dot, like that. But if we do the letter N, and we follow it by the letter A, I'm going to alternate both of those. Whoops. Could you pick out the N and the A? Oh, what was that? Was that an E or a T? Do that again. So that was an E. So let's get the letter N one more time. That's N. And we remember what the letter E and the letter T is. So let's do the letter N, our new letter, and then let's do an E and then a T after that. That's going to spell the word net. Just like that. Can you tell the difference between the N, the E, and the T? There you go, there's net. What about NAT, N-A-T? Some of the network engineers out there might be familiar with the word N-A-T, right? NAT. There's N-A-T. Let's slow that down a little bit. I was going a little fast for everybody. There's N-A-T. Now let's do N-E-T. Can you tell the difference if we do N-E-T? All right, now what's this word? Let's make sure we pay attention to the characters here. How about that? Let's do that again. All right, there's N-A-T. What word is this? It's a three-letter word. Let's do it one more time. So building blocks here. We did a T, the letter E, and then the letter N. So T-E-N, which spells the word 10. Let's do that one more time. There's 10. So we're already starting to learn words. But don't worry about that, because your number one responsibility is to try to instantly recognize the character when I send it as fast as humanly possible. So when I send the word 10, I want you to yell out the letter T when you hear the T, the letter E when you hear the letter E, and the letter N when you hear the letter N. So let's do 10. All right, that's 10. Now that we know 4 letters, what word is this? How about that? Anyone have an idea what that is? The letter T, the letter A, and the letter N. Let's do that one more time. Are you starting to get the feel for some of what this sounds like? You have a T, you have an E, you have an A, and then you have an N. You can tell the A's and the N's are certainly distinctively different. And the A, even though it's a dot dash, and then the N, which is a dash dot, they sound different, don't they? Here's an A, here's an N. Let's do a T-E-A-N. How's that? It's not even a word, right? But let's do it anyways. So T-E-A-N. So those are our 4 letters for this practice session. We'll do a couple of more letter groups here, and then we'll wrap it up for this session. You can feel free to watch this video as many times as you want to go through some of those the letters just to reinforce what you've learned. A, E, N, T, right? We can make a couple of words with just those 4 letters, which is kind of fun. But let's do a couple of letter groups here, and we'll finish it off here. And make sure that you scream out as loud as possible when you recognize the character. So let's do this one more time. We have a T, we have an E, we have an A, and we have an N. So let's see if we can figure the rest of these out. Okay, so that is our practice for today. We just learned A, E, N, and T, and we were able to make a couple of words out of that, like 10 or net or nat, things like that. So I think we can even do T-E-N-N-E-T, right? Tenant. So this is the very first video. I'm glad you watched it. Hope this helps, and I will continue to make videos to add letters to the groups that we already know, and that's why this is additive and cumulative. So we're going to do 2 more letters in our next session. I would recommend that you watch this video and just digest and learn the 4 letters that we just learned today, and make sure that you have those solid before we really start moving on to the next set of letters. I'll probably do 2, 3, or 4 letters in the next session, and like I said, it's cumulative and we'll continue to build on that. So thanks for watching, and looking forward to seeing you in the next session.